Hey folks, welcome back to Brazilian Wood Depot's YouTube channel, where I go over everything regarding Brazilian hardwoods like Ipe in terms of decking, siding, and flooring. Today I'm going to go over another one of the 10 common problems with Ipe in reference to an article that I wrote a few weeks ago. This problem is called Ipe is Too Hard, which kind of sounds contradictory. It's a good thing that Ipe is hard, but there are some articles out there that said it's not a good thing that Ipe is hard, and I am here to put those to rest. So if you go to our website, bwdepot.com, here's our homepage. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to take you to this article so you can kind of look at it later on, or instead of watching this video if you prefer to read. 10 Ipe problems. There it is. And Ipe is too hard. So I'm going to get into tooling Ipe, and laying the boards down, and some tips and advice to make the process a little easier. So here we go. Okay, so Ipe is undoubtedly one of the hardest woods in the world. It is extremely hard material. I mean, it's compared to concrete a lot of the time, and that is absolutely appropriate. It's got a hardness rating close to concrete, a fire rating close to concrete, and like concrete, it doesn't float. And that's true for a lot of these Brazilian hardwoods, particularly the ones that we carry here in Brazilian Wood Depot, rather. But what I want to talk about today is Ipe too hard? Well, no, it's not too hard. In fact, its hardness is why it lasts so long. It's rated to last 50 to 75 years in certain contexts and situations. And it's what makes it so insect resistant, very fire resistant. And the hardness plays a lot into all of the benefits that come with Ipe, which I go over plenty in plenty of other places on our website. But let's talk about Ipe being too hard. So one of the common concerns with working with Ipe is cutting Ipe. Now, cutting Ipe really isn't a big deal. Nowadays, carbide tips are kind of an industry standard. So carbide tip blades, you're probably familiar with them. I'm not going to get into too great a detail, but this is one of our blades here. Of course, we got this sharpened so it's covered with wax. It's a standard 50 tooth blade. The configuration and number of teeth really doesn't matter too much. That's kind of personal preference. At least in our experience, it doesn't matter too much. Carbide tips really help make cutting easier. So if you're doing an Ipe deck, I highly recommend using carbide tips, something like this. Next up is screwing into Ipe. So because Ipe is so hard, it is very difficult to get a screw into Ipe. I mean, you can forget about nailing Ipe, which is typically nails would be used to install like pressure treated lumber for a pressure treated pine deck. That's out of the question. You will not be able to nail through Ipe, and even if you could, it really wouldn't be advisable. So you do want to use screws for Ipe. Now the problem is because Ipe is so hard, it is very difficult to get a screw, even if it's self-tapping, a screw into Ipe. And even if you could, there are some problems with that. One, if you're using screws on Ipe, they need to be stainless steel. And as we know, stainless steel is a little bit softer than regular steel, which means that as you try to drive a stainless steel screw into Ipe, what will happen is you'll very likely end up spinning the heads off of these screws, which becomes a very frustrating process and problem to have. So what you need to do to drive these stainless steel screws into Ipe is pre-drill. Now you can use your own drill bit and pre-drill it and pilot your own holes. That's not a problem. But what we always sell here, sorry about the phones, but what we always sell here with anybody who's face screwing their decking boards is what's called a smart bit. Smart bit is made by Starborn, and it is an awesome tool. It has a blocker here. It goes right into your drill. It comes with 2 replacements and an Allen key so that you can replace this bit, which will get hot. So make sure to let it cool down between each pilot hole. Or if it breaks, of course, you've got more replacements. And we sell replacements that go with this smart bit tool. So it's an extremely useful tool, again, to drive screws into Ipe. You do have to use stainless steel, like I said. Even though steel is stronger, it will leave an oxidation ring around the head of the screw, which is ugly, and they'll keep coming. The oxidation rings will keep coming back until you replace it to stainless steel. So stainless steel screws, soft, will break unless you pilot, which makes this tool extremely handy. They're very affordable, and they should last. They last long enough to get you through the job, and if it's a larger job, just get some replacement bits. If you've got a couple people piloting the holes, just get a couple of these. They're not very expensive. Most people who do a lot of Ipe deck building own a couple of these, and if they don't, they usually buy some more. So that is one tip for tooling Ipe in terms of screwing face screws into deck boards. Okay, and last but not least, laying deck boards down. Now, because Ipe deck boards are so hard and so strong, it can be difficult to work out slight movements in the board, which you will find slight movement in the board here and there, which means a little bit of curve to the board, meaning you'll have to straighten it out. Now, with the longer 1x6 boards, it's not hard to get someone on the other end to create some pressure while you put in the screws and straighten the board out. But with the shorter boards and 1x6, or especially 5/4x6 Ipe boards, pulling those boards into place can be incredibly difficult. So I'm going to take you back over to our article here. As you can see, I'm back here at number 1, Ipe Too Hard. This is a bow wrench, this orange tool here. A bow wrench is an awesome tool. Again, many of the builders own at least one of these bow wrench tools. Typically only need one per job. But basically what it does is it creates leverage using the joists. So these two prongs here will go on either side of the joist, and this long handle will be pulled. So it pulls this board that this little piece here is against into place while you can put in the screws. So a bow wrench tool is absolutely handy. I recommend it to anybody who is really DIY, especially, again, if you're using 5/4 boards. It's not always necessary, but it's almost always helpful. So bow wrench is a great tool. We love it. As far as tooling Ipe, you've got your carbide blades, you've got your smart bit, and you've got your bow wrench. Those are the three things that really make tooling Ipe not as hard as everybody seems to make it sound. So there you go. That wraps up another common problem with Ipe decking. Again, go to our website, look at our blog to see all 10. I'll make some more videos outlining the other problems here shortly. Thank you for watching.